Warning, some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Well, happy Saturday to one and all, and welcome back into another episode of Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast, all on the world of professional wrestling. Happy to be here and happy almost AEW All-In Day, if you want to call it that. I'm Dizzy. Let's introduce the rest of the Ringside Ramblers. First up, neighborhood heel, Max Mages. He's out on assignment this week to find out the reasons, according to him, on why football is better than pro wrestling, and we hope to have his findings soon. Honestly, guys, I'd say it's kind of 50-50. What do you think?
Good question.
So, I don't know. I've been watching both of them that's a good question, actually. I've watched both of them for about the same exact time, like 90s football, got into it somehow, like, somebody was watching on TV and got into it. And then, like, wrestling, though, like, I remember going to the VHS store when I was probably, like, fucking 4 years old, getting a old, probably Survivor Series from 1990 or something. Yeah. I do believe, though, like, I get into football more. Meaning, like, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. Like, say what you want to say about the Cowboys, but I've been that for 20-plus years. So like I get into it, but it's only like for 3 months. So, but wrestling's all year round.
Wrestling is all year round, and I'm a Chiefs guy, so that's my team. Hey. I mean, count the rings, buddy. Count the rings. But I would say
Oh, you know what? I'm like, well, why not St. Louis? And I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well,
so that still stings for the St. Louis people. Yeah, that was very rude, J-Bone. I'm not even a Rams fan, but
it was highly rude.
Sorry.
But I agree with Baron, man, because football is only 3 months, and then we move on into the Super Bowl. But wrestling is year round, so we get that. We continue to get that excitement from pro wrestling, but honestly, I'd say it's a 50-50 split. J-Bone, when it comes to pro wrestling and football, what do you think, man?
I used to love football a lot more than I do now. I have become much more of a fair weather fan. I mean, if I have to watch football, I'm going to watch my Packers. Yeah. But watching football just is not as fun as it used to be. The rules that they have laid down for the players in the last, I'd say, almost decade has become ridiculous. So that really took me out as a fan. When you've got a guy with a ball running down the field and another guy from the defense is trying to chase him and touches him on the elbow and gets called on a penalty.
Pass interference, yeah.
I'm like, what you're not allowed to touch each other or tackle each other? What's going on here? This is supposed to be football. This isn't flag football. What's going on? Right. And it was literally after that I threw my remote up in the air and I said, I'm done.
This had to be like a Packers playoff game or something like that. That's what they
right.
Off. Fuck the Packers. They beat the Cowboys every year in the play. Okay, let's move on. You're going to get me fired up, bro.
All right. So we hope to have Max's findings on the next time he's here. And we're up to 198 subscribers. Golfers, clap for that. And we recently made the bet that, and Baron reminded us of all of this. If we get to 200 subscribers, Max has to wear a dress on the next episode of Ramblers Unleashed. I don't know if he remembers that, but Baron does. And so we got to just get 2 more subscribers. So share this with your friends and your family. If you want to see Max Magus in a dress like all of us do on this show collectively, get us to 200 subs and we'll put Max in a dress. And this all stems back from when Max was with his promotion in Colorado. He came out to the ring in a dress and he had a chair, and I think he said he lost a match or something like that. But
it's more of a house coat, I think.
Yeah, like
what they called that back in the day, kind of like an Edith Bunker looking thing.
Like an Edith Bunker.
Yeah, I'm really dating myself when I say stuff like that. Yeah. Somebody listening to this or watching this is going to be like, what in the blue hell is an Edith Bunker? Look, I grew up with All in the Family.
Yeah.
And it's still, to me, one of the greatest all-time sitcoms. And yeah, it's controversial, but
easily iconic. I mean, it was controversial in its day. It still kind of is, but it's very, very predated, and it's still a good show. Still very much worth the watch, man.
Yeah.
So
if anything, it poked fun at what controversies are around. It's like, it didn't take itself too seriously. Sometimes it was, but
it did. Yeah. But anyway, we want to get Max into a dress. No, it doesn't matter what kind of dress it is. It can be a dress, muumuu, whatever the hell. We just want to see him. We just want to see him in a dress.
I'll settle for a bra and granny panties. I'm just saying.
On Max, no. No.
Hey, to each their own, man.
I mean, he can wear like a fall type of dress. You know what I'm saying? Like, since we're getting into fall, so he could wear like one of those sweater dresses or whatever.
Oh, that's hot. I mean, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that's sure.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Get us up to 200 subs. Tell your friends, tell your family. We want to see Max in a dress, and I know we can do it. We'll get there, and hit that sub button, hit the bell icon too. Let's continue on. Next up, the man who needs no introduction, and the man that is higher than the ratings currently at AEW, and whose catchphrase is and will always be Baron
999.
There it is. And who's becoming more sophisticated in his intake of Mary Jane, and would roll a big fatty whenever AEW comes on, just to get over the initial pain and the
numb the brain a little bit, man. You gotta
numb the shock of it. The steel trap of pro wrestling knowledge. He is the high one. He is the Baron. Golfers clap. Baron, how are you this week, buddy?
Good, man. Good. It's been a pretty solid week. I'm leaving for San Diego next weekend. I won't be here.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. It's running wild today.
The fans are crazy for you, bud.
And just the Baron here. No, everything's been good, man. It's been a pretty solid week. Weather's been nice. Work's been pretty easy. So
awesome.
Gonna coast through the rest of this week and be in San Diego, enjoying some 70-degree weather.
So what's in San Diego? Like what's going on there? Family. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Right on. Well, you are going to get an assignment whenever you go to San Diego.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that maybe after the Courtney wants to smoke with you, Baron.
There you go, Courtney.
So we'll figure out what your assignment is before we get off the show today. Because you gotta go with something. Right, everybody does. If J Bone's
you
off,
gotta have an assignment, or you can't be off. That's just how it is.
You gotta. If anybody is off,
PTO days out here, assignment days.
Right. You always have to expand your knowledge somehow, some way.
Absolutely.
Well, glad you're here, Baron. We're going to talk.
Glad to be here.
some wrestling news soon. And finally, the producer of our show, the man, the myth, the absolute legend, for without his tech wizardry and the gizmos that he brings to the show, plus his vast wrestling knowledge, and of course his missus, who is so kind to gift us his time to do the show, for without him, we wouldn't be here today. The host of Smashes Podcast and the total nonstop impact with the latest TNA reviews and news over on YouTube over any other podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the great and infamous J-Bone. Golfers clap for him. Yeah, the fans are going nuts for J-Bone and the Bone Man of TNI.
Fans out there.
Yeah. You got a lot of fans. J-Bone, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
It's going good, man. It's an exciting weekend for AEW. I know there's times where we're critical of the brand, but I feel like we're gonna give it some love on this show because I think they got a hell of a show coming up on Sunday.
Yes. Oh, yeah, they do. And we're going to dive into the predictions for All In and Wembley at the end of this show. But we got a lot to discuss today. Of course, we have some news on Alexa Bliss sharing an emotional message on the 1-year anniversary of Bray Wyatt passing. And we have our question of the day today, as well as Baron's $9.99 moment and a new segment for J-Bone, calling it J-Bone's Total Nonstop Analysis. And it's kind of an interesting topic regarding some TNA stars. So we'll dive into that. And of course, we have some AEW news, and we'll get into the AEW All In 2024 predictions at the end of the show as we are getting ready for the big pay-per-view on Sunday. So with that being said, guys, are we ready?
Born
Are
ready.
you ready?
Born ready.
Yeah. J-Bone, you need to do that with some water next time.
Yeah, well, my computer's right here. If I do that, it's
you should put some plastic wrap over it and then do it. Plastic wrap over the computer and the figs, and then make the mess. And hopefully your wife doesn't kill you.
I feel like you've added some more action figures in the back there, J-Bone.
no,
No,
not really. No,
Okay.
if anything, my cat has knocked a few down.
It just looks
the top
bigger.
row looks like a little like more.
You also have some drawers there. Are there more action figures in the drawers?
I've got some of these for storing figures that I'm not going to display, like the basics or
Yeah.
like you get elites with extra hands and heads and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you buy something from like a Facebook thing or something that's been used and opened, and it doesn't have like a hand, do you replace it with the hand?
I mean, it's rare that I would do that, but yeah, I've got plenty of hands and heads and whatever parts for and I got crafting supplies back here too. So
yeah,
if
I've only got 2 left hands, and then this guy's missing a head, and I've only got a Barbie head to fit it. Damn it.
Yeah.
I still, not to get crazy off topic here, but I still hold the Al Snow action figure with like almost like a holy moment, because it's the one still in the package with the head. You remember they got recalled and they had this big ordeal because I don't remember who it was that complained, but there was a massive lawsuit with that action figure, and they ripped it off the shelves, and we actually got one, and there was only a few hundred made.
Where is it?
Wow.
It's in storage unit, so I mean,
but it's still in its packaging,
still
and
in
it's
its packaging. Probably the only wrestler that I have still in its packaging.
Oh my god! Wow,
Nice.
that's worth some money.
I could be totally wrong on this, but I swear it was autographed. But don't quote me.
You should eBay it. You should see what it goes on eBay.
Yeah, I've looked around to see what prices of those figures would be.
What have you
nothing
found?
crazy?
Oh, okay.
200.
Yeah.
Okay. I think our Lion King movie that had the, or not Lion King, Little Mermaid that had the VHS with the penises on it.
Yeah.
We had one of those too. And
I
that's
had that as a kid. I don't know why my mom bought it for me, but she bought it for me, and it had the original the original cover on it. I question my mom on a lot of shit she did when I was younger.
You know,
Little
same,
Mermaid, fucking Snow White. I don't know. I'm like, why are you buying me all this princess shit? I'm a boy, Mom. Damn it.
But they were so fucking good. Like, they were good as a kid, though.
Oh, dude, Ariel was so hot. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Ariel was hot. Jasmine was hot on Aladdin. I mean, those princesses are fire. I mean,
they were great times, man.
Yeah. But all right, let's get into.
I'm at the edge. I'm just gonna. Nope, I'm not touching that. No,
we're not a Disney podcast. If you want a Disney podcast, you can go to our buddy DeStefano Knows Disney and find his channel. Shout out to him because shout out to Ant, and I saw him on Facebook.
Yes,
boy, when he had Rant with Ant, it was massive for him. He got to go cover a lot of different things, so that's awesome for him. Kudos to he and G-Rod for making that a very successful, but he's taken time away from pro wrestling and decided to do something with his wife. He's got a new podcast called DeStefano Knows Disney, or Stefano's Disney, or whatever. I think it's how it's pronounced, but kudos and shout out to our buddy Anthony DeStefano from Rant with Ant. And yeah, always good to hear from him. But let's dive into some news, and we started off with Alexa Bliss. She shared an emotional message on social media on the 1 year anniversary of Bray Wyatt's passing. He, of course, made his return to Extreme Rules in 2022 to much delight of the fans, and unfortunately, he passed away last year, leaving behind a legacy that will always be remembered. And on the 1 year anniversary of his passing, Alexa Bliss has paid tribute to him, honoring his memory. And sadly, he just passed away at the age of 36 last year, leaving fans and pro wrestling world in shock as they grapple with the tragic loss. And Wyatt will always be remembered for being an incredible person and so much more, and such an innovator for his character in WWE. And Alexa Bliss took to her Instagram and uploaded a post featuring herself and Bray Wyatt when they used to work together regularly on WWE programming. The post marked the 1 year anniversary of Wyatt's unfortunate passing. She wrote an emotional message making it clear that she missed Bray Wyatt with a simple "Miss you, Wyndham." And Braun Strowman has also paid tribute to Bray Wyatt by posting, quote, "Not a day goes by that I don't think about you," end quote. It's crazy to think that we lost Bray Wyatt just a year ago. It feels like just yesterday that he's been gone, and we miss him, and I'm so happy that his brother is back and paying homage to him with the Wyatt. So it's good that they're continuing his memory on programming.
I think they're doing a really good job at it. I know some people are like, oh, they've already killed the comeback of this, but you know what? I'm comfortable with how they're doing it, because they're not rolling this out at, so to speak, like 100 miles an hour, like some other stuff you see, like, like gangbusters every week. Like, oh my God, now what? No, man, it's been a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah. They've run some promos. They've had some matches. It's just right,
The momentum of the Wyatt Six is really, really good, because they don't need to be out on TV every week. They don't need to be out there all the time. But
you want to keep it special.
Yeah, you do. And with the Wyatt Six, it is a special thing. And Baron, it's kind of hard to believe that Bray's only been gone a year. It was a tragic loss for the pro wrestling world.
Yeah, I mean, first I'll say fucking time flies. It really does. I mean, like, it's wild how fast everything goes by. But yeah, no, I mean, one of the most tragic moments in wrestling. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Wyatt Six are, like you guys said, doing very well with paying homage to Bray Wyatt. And I think it's crucial that they are not on there every week. I know people say, oh, if you're a champion, or you're, not that they're champions, but you should be on TV every week. There's fans that say that shit, but I don't think they need to be there every week. I think that was one of the problems I had with the gimmick with Bray Wyatt. Fantastic, love it, but it got stale fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's too much.
But I think they're doing great, and it's still very sad.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really over on the Firefly Funhouse. I wasn't over on that. It did get to be a little too much, honestly, with Bray on WWE programming. I thought the match between he and John Cena, how they did that with all the twists and turns and stuff, was okay. A lot of throwbacks and things like that with the NWO and all that, but it got to be a little over.
That was a weird time for wrestling, though. Right. I think wrestling it wasn't, not everything was clicking during that period of time either. So I don't think it came over as well. It was one of those moments in wrestling you look back on and it's like, damn, that was good. You know what I'm saying? One of those moments. Because I feel like wrestling was just in a very weird state during that period of time.
Yeah, and we were also in the Vince McMahon era still, before he made his exit out of the company. So a lot of things have changed since then, and it's really cool that they're still honoring Bray's memory with the Wyatt Six. So rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, and it's good that Braun and Alexa Bliss are paying homage to him, and of course they paid homage to him on programming too with Bo and the rest of the Wyatt Six, remembering Bray, and this is why they're doing it. So let's move on to our question of the day, and this is the question for our listeners, and this involves LA Knight, who has ascended to the next level on the SmackDown roster ever since he dethroned Logan Paul at SummerSlam to capture his first singles title, the prestigious United States Championship. And the megastar was challenged to put his title on the line by Santinos Escobar on last night's edition of SmackDown, and both men squared off with the Star Spangled Prize on the line. And following a hard-fought match, it was LA Knight who emerged victorious over Escobar after the field was leveled up, with his Legado del Fantasma members being ejected from ringside by the official. Later that night, in a backstage interview with Byron Saxton, did I say it wrong?
No, you did. No, you did. I'm laughing. I'm visualizing it in my head how they got ejected from the match. You're fine.
Good. And in backstage interview with Byron Saxton, LA Knight reflected on his first title defense. He then shifted his attention to the upcoming PLE Bash in Berlin and threw out an open challenge for the event and to anyone in the locker room who wanted a shot at his United States Championship. So here's the question for the listeners and for you guys. We'll get to you in just a moment. Who do you think will challenge LA Knight for the title at Bash in Berlin? That's kind of I don't know. It can be anybody, honestly, but who do you think is a good person to challenge LA Knight for that U.S. champ title? We'll go with J-Bone first.
Oh, man. So we're talking SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. Just off the top of my head, I'd say throw someone from the bloodline in there, but they got their own thing going on. I don't think that's gonna happen. Jeez.
Well, let's go through the roster, because there's so. I mean,
I got the pick. I already know who it's going to be. I've read into the future. I know who it is.
No. Well, who is it?
It's going to be John Cena.
No.
Oh yeah, it's got to be, right.
Really?
Why would it be?
Well, I mean, he's going on his retirement tour. Who better to feud with than LA Knight?
Yeah, but that's more like next year.
Well, I think he's going to be done in 2025. Like, we're talking Mania's will be the last bid, right?
Well, Mania is his last Mania, but it doesn't end at Mania, I don't think.
I just think that, he's going to come back for some marquee, Here's the thing with, like, these open challenges stuff. 90% of the time, it's never going to be anybody on the active roster. If it is someone on the active roster, why wouldn't you go ahead and pursue a feud with that person during that build-up instead of just doing open challenge?
It could be a comeback.
It could be a comeback. Maybe like John Cena was my first choice, and then I thought about it more. It could be like AJ Styles. He's been out for a while too.
Exactly. I was thinking AJ.
Either one would be great, but I feel like I think we'd get something really nice out of John Cena and
But yeah, I agree. I really hope it's not AJ Styles, because that guy has put over so many other superstars, and it's his time to shine. And I hate the fact that he's only ever there to wrestle on like PLEs, but he makes PLE so special.
Yeah,
but
he's that guy, man. AJ Styles always goes in and goes out, and like I love when he's one of the best by far, not even in question.
Yeah.
Well, they wrestled at Mania, didn't they?
Yeah. LA Knight, yeah, that's now there's a title there, maybe I'm coming back type of deal too. But also like these open challenges will be a great time for newer, younger talent to also be involved into these matches, I loved when like John Cena did his open challenge, with the US title. So
I can tell you that it will not be Logan Paul as a surprise. I think Logan is done in the company as of right now, because he's in some hot water, and I can't remember what that specifically is over, but there's some controversy going on around Logan Paul.
He's got a few lawsuits going on.
Yeah, that's kicked him out or that's taken him out of the WWE right now. And speaking of the Pauls, I just watched the and this is kind of a sidebar. I watched the press conference between his brother Jake Paul and Mike Tyson that I believe was yesterday, and boy, that was kind of heated, really heated. But I'm excited for that, really excited for that. But this is the question of the day: who do you think is gonna challenge LA Knight for the title, the U.S. title at Bash in Berlin? Sound off in the comments below and let us know. You could pop up on the screen here. You never know, and we'll keep that up for just a little bit.
You know what? I think. Well, he's faced off against Carmelo Hayes recently, hasn't he?
Maybe.
Or is that one still?
I don't know if he's faced off with Carmelo Hayes.
Are we talking about LA Knight still?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good possibility that LA Knight could face Carmelo Hayes, but
I know they faced off on SmackDown not that long ago. I don't remember when that was.
Because I'm looking at the roster, and there really aren't that many.
There's not. I looked at the roster too, and there's not a lot of people on there that could challenge LA Knight for the title, and unless it is John Cena or maybe AJ Styles, they just throw him in at Bash at Berlin to get him over, or to help strengthen LA Knight. And I hate to say that because I love AJ Styles and I really want to see him with a title, but
yeah, you got to remember AJ's also on SmackDown officially, so it's a good chance that might come.
You know who I'm gonna say?
Yeah,
and I think this would be a damn good match, win or lose. Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, that would be a really good match. Really good match.
One of Milwaukee's finest.
Yeah, that's a good prediction there, J-Bone. I like that. Well, let it keep sounding off. Who you think could challenge LA Knight for the title at Bash in Berlin?
Ooh,
Joe Hendry. he's everywhere else. Well, Joe Hendry is coming up in the news just a little bit later on.
Why not?
Matter of fact, after Baron's $9.99 moment, which is right now, let's dive into it. And the WWE has a few superstars who were not in action, and many fans are eager to see Alexa Bliss's return. Now, she took time off from her in-ring competition as she announced she was pregnant with the daughter, Hendricks, and that thrust Ryan Cabrera and Bliss now into parenthood. Now, after years away from the squared circle, Little Miss Bliss may be ready for her return after nearly 2 years away from the ring. The former multi-time women's champion Alexa Bliss has sparked speculation about a possible return. She's been absent from programming since January 2023, since the birth of her first child. And while recent training videos has shown her preparing for an in-ring return, there haven't been many concrete hints about whether she might reappear. But it was yesterday that Bliss stirred excitement among fans by posting a teaser on Twitter, now known as X. She shared a GIF or GIF or however it's pronounced of Taylor Swift with the caption, "Are you ready for it?" And of course, this naturally stirred up a lot of excitement within the fan base. Baron, I know that you have been kind of over on Alexa Bliss. You love her, you like her, and
Oh yeah.
are you excited for an Alexa Bliss return? And who do you think would be a good opponent for her, a good run? Who do you think would be a good feud? I'm kind of thinking Liv Morgan.
Well, I think Liv Morgan's got a lot going on currently, storyline wise. Maybe if it's down the road, sure. I think we just talked about White Sick just a little bit ago. I think there would be a place for her there in some way, shape, or form. I feel like especially with the message she came out with talking about Bray earlier, I think there's always been some type of way she wanted to portray in that. So I think that would be interesting to see, and it might help balance her out where they're not on the show every week, so she doesn't have to be there every week and continue to motherhood and all that fun stuff. So something like that would be, I'd be down for anything, really. Everybody should love Alexa Bliss. She's always been good and decent in the ring and always had a really good gimmick. But I'm not against the Liv Morgan match at all.
So if
you could throw her against a broom and it'd be a great match.
Yeah.
That's hot.
But if it's not Liv Morgan, who do you think it could be? Who's another possibility that she could have a good feud with?
I'm just trying to remember her last bout. I mean, that was Royal Rumble, though, right? Her last match?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
You said January 2023, so that would have to be Royal Rumble time. I'm just trying to remember how she left. I don't remember how she left. She faced Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see her coming back facing off with Bianca. I'm not sure what the hell they're doing. Dominic. Yeah, dude, I don't get it, man. Dominic pisses me off with that, dude. He's just racking them up over there, throwing them away. Come on, Dominic.
So I just went on the internet and I typed in Alexa Bliss, and here are some good possible feuds. You just mentioned Bianca Belair. She could come back and try to get revenge on her.
Yeah, but
another
Bianca
one
hasn't done anything though. Has she?
Yeah, not really.
Her and Jade have kind of fallen off.
But that could be a good. That could help build her back up, though. Bianca, she's not strong.
They've been going after the tag title, so they're kind of mixed up with that right now.
Well, that's true. But if the tag titles don't fall into line with them, that could be a possibility. Another one is Liv Morgan. The next possibility is Maxine Dupree, but that would be a good one because Maxine is now a face and Alexa could come back as a heel with that. Another one is Nia Jax.
Yes, thank you. I was waiting for someone to say it.
Yeah, be that, and Nia is one of those that can. I hate to say it, but she can put somebody over because she's so terrible herself. The last one, and this is kind of interesting. The last possible feud for Alexa Bliss could be Nikki Cross from the Wyatt Six. And this is what I'm thinking. Who could be who was the first Sister Abigail? Who was the first one? It was Alexa Bliss before Nikki was ever involved in the Wyatt Six or Bray Wyatt at all. So that could be a good possible feud.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see. Again, you can sound off in the comments who you think would be a good possible feud for Alexa Bliss when she does come back to WWE programming. But those are some good possibilities, really good possibilities. All right, since Joe Hendry was recently mentioned, let's move on to some TNA news. And we're going to get to TNA's the new segment with J-Bone and the total nonstop analysis. First off, let's talk about Tuesday's episode of NXT. It featured several key matches that will help shape the future of the brand. Ethan Page, the current NXT champion, has quickly risen to the top of the WWE developmental brand with No Mercy approaching on September 1st. The search for his next challenger took place center stage during this week's NXT. That also included a very high-stakes NXT Championship #1 contender match. It was held featuring Wesley, Pete Dunne, and Joe Hendry. The three competitors battled pretty fiercely, each determining to earn the spot to challenge the NXT Championship. The match began with Wesley and Pete Dunne targeting Joe Hendry during his entrance, immediately intensifying the action. The crowd was firmly behind Joe Hendry, but with a lot of chants of "We Believe" from the NXT arena for Joe Hendry after an explosive performance and several near falls in that match. Joe Hendry will now face Ethan Page for the NXT Championship at No Mercy, and just another example of the collaboration between TNA and WWE, making this a must-see PLE. Are you guys excited for Joe Hendry and Ethan Page? Baron?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, it's
That was the most questionable look I've ever seen you have in a
I had to
very.
think about it for a minute. Do I, yeah, I think it would be. I mean, like you say, good match. I think wrestling, blah blah blah. Well, whatever. It'll be big for NXT. I just, the only question I really truly have about like Joe Hendry, I know what we're trying to do, the cross face off here, and I love that, and I think it's great. He's being put into the main event picture very, very big on NXT. And I think personally, I'm just wondering, is contract wise, where does he stand? Because he's getting into these big matches, and if he's not in a contract with NXT, he's not winning the title. Like, that's not how this works.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because currently his contract is not set to expire with TNA, I think in 2025, but there have been some people who have come over from NXT to TNA with the NXT title and vice versa. I mean, we saw it with what's her face? Crap, I can't remember her name. Jordan
Grace.
We saw that recently on WWE.
We saw her come in with the TNA women's.
Right. Yeah, but
she was also paid handsomely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Joe Hendry's getting paid very well too.
Oh, I'm sure so.
Appearances.
So.
I think it'll be great, and I think it's great for the main event picture for both brands. I feel though like I want to see more TNA over there. The one thing that I see, and it's not a big problem, is Joe Hendry. When fans are talking about Joe Hendry, it's more Joe Hendry NXT. It's not Joe Hendry TNA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
he should. I think he's more aligned to NXT at this point. So I want him to, his name kind of bring more attention to TNA. It's my only thing that I dislike.
Yeah,
I agree. J-Bone, you do you agree with that? Do you think that Joe should challenge or be the #1 contender for NXT lose to Ethan Page and then focus on TNA to help build that brand?
I think before J-Bone says that, I think my thing that I'm not saying correctly here is I'm wanting to see someone from NXT go face Joe Hendry on TNA instead of Joe Hendry on NXT at the entire time. Because I feel like viewership wise, it would be more beneficial for TNA to have those people come over there.
You got to think about it too. How big are the audiences compared to from TNA to NXT, or do NXT have does NXT normally have a bigger audience, or is it about the same? J-Bone, do you know?
Right now, TNA in the States does not have a big audience. I mean, I think NXT is helping, but
yeah. So with the comparison between the two audiences, the crowds, who's bigger? Is it NXT or is it TNA, or is it about the same?
It's hard to say. I don't really keep track of numbers.
Yeah,
but
because I've caught some NXT programming on USA, and I've also seen TNA on Access, and to me it looks about the same.
I would say NXT shows are far bigger, but I do believe the TNA pay-per-views are, because that's the shows that I'm watching a lot more. So it does seem a lot bigger audience-wise. But who cares how many they have? I just think
the reason
over there though.
The reason the reason I bring that up is because the size of the arena. You know, you got, I'm sure if an NXT or if several NXT stars went over to TNA, they'd have to house it in a bigger arena. And right now, J-Bone, they're not in very big arenas. They only have 3,000 max.
Well, honestly, what TNA is doing audience-wise live, it's taped, but you know what I mean?
Right. NXT taped too.
Is a lot. Well, NXT is in a studio. In fact, if you want to get technical, NXT is taped in, I think it's taped in the studio that used to house the classic TNA stuff from I forget which era, but it's one of them. So, but the TNA live crowds are getting, here's Barry Monkey, by the way, welcome and thank you for commenting from the Twitch. TNA crowds are getting bigger and louder, judging by what I see on TV. Big
time they are. I noticed that as a casual fan.
They are filling up bigger venues, especially for their events, special events / PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever you want to call them. But what's nice is when they do hold, events for these shows, and they have say they hold them on a Friday for their special event, the next day is for the tapings. They're still bringing in a fair amount of fans to, fill up a good chunk of what they had from their pay-per-view or their special event, which is great to see, which that was a struggle before. They'd bring them in and then it was hard to sell tickets for the next day. Now those are becoming must see because, just look at what's going on now. You never know when there's, special faces, free agents, comebacks, whatever are going to show up, and they're doing their best to advertise, some special matches ahead of time. And that's any company does that just to get, put some butts in seats. So,
sure.
But as far as the main question you were asking, you were asking about,
Joe Hendry and Ethan Page. Are you excited for that match? Is it something that you're looking forward to?
Oh, absolutely. I'm so, number one, I'm a big fan of Ethan Page. and I really lost track of him while he was in Ring of Honor / AEW, whatever he was doing at the time. I think he was expecting a lot greener pasture. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he was paid nice, compared to TNA and, seen on a bigger audience, but they just didn't do much with him. It was very sporadic. He'd have a couple hot feuds. He had a hot feud with Darby Allin, and then beyond that, I couldn't tell you what the hell he did, sadly. And the only reason why I really liked his feud with Darby Allin is because that was what made me a fan of both of these guys back in like 2017, before either of them hit like, big time TV status. So they were both, working for, oh God, what the hell? He was that. It was an indie company, and then it kind of merged with WWE NXT.
Oh,
Evolve.
Yeah.
Loved it. Their feud in 2017. I called that my feud of the year, and considering that was an indie feud, probably turned a lot of heads, and people were like, "What? Really? Nothing from WWE, nothing from TNA, nothing from." Well, there was no AEW at the time, but yeah, I felt like that was like the hottest thing going. But anyways, back to Joe Hendry and such. Win or lose, the fact that Joe Hendry is going to be on that stage facing Ethan Page, I'm so excited for it. But that's also why it's like, Joe Hendry can't be 10 places at once. He's
right. Yeah, he is a very wanted man.
All over.
A lot of people wanted him to win in this last 6-way match, this last big pay-per-view for TNA. And when he didn't, and people were like, complaining about it, whatever. And it's like, and then you saw where things were heading shortly after that on NXT when he started showing up and then challenging Ethan Page. It's like, okay, now we get it. He's not going to win a TNA title and then go over to NXT and then challenge for that while holding the TNA title, because that's just going to get mixed up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason for everything. And the fact that TNA and NXT are working together closely to feature stuff, whether it be live stuff on NXT and or taped stuff from TNA, it's all working out really well.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It's great. I'm enjoying everything I'm seeing from it. Don't mean to complain, but I want to see more action from TNA, or meaning like more wrestlers from NXT and TNA. I think that's what I'm
more wrestlers from NXT on TNA programming.
Yeah. And you're gonna get that. Like Shawn Michaels said in an interview recently, he said, "We're just getting started." Now you got to remember what they're doing now is they're just throwing out breadcrumbs right now. They can't do. They're not going to show like half the roster over there. They're gonna show some up and coming faces for like Jordan Grace's challenges and stuff like that, or like Charlie Dempsey's been over there a few times. He just wrestled Jonathan Gresham in a crazy cat. What do you call that? Catch style wrestling. Very different, but it was great. It really was. So it's like, you gotta just pay attention week by week. They'll throw little things at you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move on to J Bone's total nonstop analysis. And there's a new rumor mill circulating in pro wrestling, J Bone, and it's not painting people, some people at least, in the best light. Here's what's going on. AAA announcer Larry Dallas recently saw a posting for a GoFundMe campaign that caught his eye. Dallas replied now in a deleted tweet that started a firestorm of rumors and fan speculation in the process. The description for this GoFundMe explained that the campaign was posted by Su Young's sister because the TNA vet is in a terrible situation financially. She can't wrestle, and it's causing her trouble, so the campaign was started in order to help her out. Now, currently, they've raised just over $5,000. You're getting close to the $6,000 range of a $10,000 goal. Okay. Now, Larry Dallas is a kind of controversial figure in the pro wrestling world, and he doesn't have much of a filter either. He saw this campaign on Twitter, now known as X, and he tweeted out a response that gave a lot of context to what is allegedly going on in the situation. Now, again, the tweet's been deleted, but this is what he wrote. Quote, cheat on your husband, keep his son from him, babyface the internet for money. It's like the Twitter scumbag trifecta, end quote. Now, to put two and two together, Su Yung is married to Rich Swann, who also made headlines recently. Swann was arrested on June 8th in Florida, facing charges of disorderly public intoxication and causing disturbance, both classified as misdemeanors in the state of Florida. Now, following the incident, Swann was suspended by TNA. He has voluntarily entered a substance abuse rehabilitation program as confirmed by the company, and he now has a trial date set over the incident. So, J-Bone, what's your take on this tweet from Larry Dallas, and why is he airing others' dirty laundry?
Well, first of all, yeah, I'll touch on the situation going on with both of them. Rich Swann, yeah, like you said, he had some, and there was also a thing from something from a couple years ago that got kind of brushed over that not a lot of people knew about apparently. Yeah, he's got some issues, and he is, thank God, getting the help for it. And I take this stuff very seriously. I've had issues in my own family regarding, substance abuse and stuff like that. So whenever I hear something like this, and so someone who is a fan favorite, it's like, you ask any TNA fan, I've come across very few that say, so okay, well, he's playing a heel right now, but besides the fact, almost everyone loves Rich Swann. He's talented, he loves what he does, he brings a smile to fans' faces when he's out there busting his ass. He's a former heavyweight champion, and it seems like over the years some stuff has maybe not been taken as seriously as it should have. Well, better late than never. He's getting help now, and that's good. So, we keep him in our thoughts and prayers, and wish him, all the well wishes and all that kind of stuff. Now, regarding Sue, beyond her having a kid, I have not heard any details from her side of the camp. I have heard that they are separated. Beyond that, I don't know any details. Okay. Mm-hmm. As far as, divorce, separation, whatever, I just know that they're not together anymore. Okay. Why she has the GoFundMe is because she got hurt really, really bad in an indie incident, something about a chair shot. She's got like 2 black eyes. She's got a broken orbital bone. Oof. So yeah, so she's and a concussion to boot. So yeah, so she's gonna be out of action for a while. I miss her. I was probably, as far as like people that I'm, with, as far as like my TNA crew, I was probably one of the biggest Su Yung fans, and then I started hearing these things over the last couple of years, why she wasn't coming back after her, she had her baby and stuff. And it's like, oh man, it's a bummer, when there's, family issues and whatever. But beyond that, I didn't hear anything exact or what exactly happened. But now, yeah, unfortunately, some of this stuff is coming to light. So we wish her well. We hope she gets healed up. As far as what Larry Dallas is saying in his tweet, yeah, it's smart that if he's working for any important wrestling company north or south of the border. You said he's working for AAA?
AAA, yep.
Okay. See, and I've loved watching AAA pay-per-views here and there, but they've been aired in the US. It's so few and far in between the last handful of years since the pandemic. I couldn't tell you who's doing commentating or anything. But hey, whatever. But Larry Dallas throwing people's dirty laundry like that, yeah, he shouldn't have done stuff like that. That's not, that sounds like he's got a personal beef with Sue Young or something. That's not cool.
Well, I mean, it doesn't paint anybody in a good light, when you start throwing out dirty laundry like that, and who is he? I mean, who is Larry Dallas to say anything about a situation that he's not involved in?
Yeah.
That just sounds like he's trying to get cheap heat, and that's bullshit. And we don't stand for that on this show. We don't like cheap heat.
No, the last time I saw him was over a handful of years ago in Evolve, so it's like, who the hell are you? Where you been? You ain't nothing, It's oh, you work for AAA, you can't get a job in the States. I guess that shows character,
Yeah, and especially with this, that shows big time character. So
yeah,
we're thinking
cool.
we're thinking about Sue Young, we're thinking about Rich Swann, and what's going on with them. But some more TNA news: the Immersions card for the company is starting to get stacked. J-Bone, what do you got on that?
Oh yeah, we got some new matches that came within the last few days from this last Thursday's TNA Impact. Let's run down the card real quick. This is the current card for Emergence.
And it's not the full card.
No, I'm sure they're gonna. Well, it's for August 30th, so it's
close to it.
It's just less than a week away. So I'm sure they're gonna throw maybe one more match in there. They don't have to. But so headlining it is going to be Nick Nemeth defending his TNA title against Josh Alexander in a 1-hour Iron Man match. Oh, just shut up and take my money. I can't wait for that one. That is going to be, and we don't see those a lot. So when we do get hour-long matches, it's like, oh, it's been a while. Awesome.
Yeah.
And let's see what else we got here. We got a 6 knockout tag team clash. So we got Jordan Grace and Spitfire, the tag team of Spitfire, which is Jody Threat and Danny Luna, versus Ash by Elegance, along with Militia, who is Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. So no titles on the line there, just, some bragging rights.
Yeah.
So, but that's going to be fun. We've got an 8-man tag. So if you call it Tag Team War. So I'm guessing this might be no DQ. Anything goes, possibly. We'll see. But it's going to be the System, which is JDC, Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers versus the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, Mike Santana, and Joe Hendry. So, and that just touches on something I saw in the comments earlier. Yeah, as much as I'd love to see him show up at No Mercy, I don't think he's going to show up at No Mercy. He's going to be busy doing this. Although it's not impossible. We'll see. But because No Mercy's the next day, I believe. All right, then we got the Ultimate X returns. That's very exciting. We just rounded out all the members of that match. So Speedball Mike Bailey is defending his X Division Championship in against 5 others, including Zachary Wentz, Hammerstone, Jason Hotch, Laredo Kid, and NXT's Riley Osborne from Chase U. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, that's they're if you're
NXT stars on TNA.
Yeah, that Riley Osborne, he's definitely a good looking X Division style wrestler. So that's gonna be fun to see what he does there. We've got Steve Macklin versus Eric Young, and then on the countdown we've got Kazarian versus Kushida.
Ooh, that'll be good.
So there's some different stuff in there. There's multi-person tags, a few one-on-ones.
Yeah.
It sounds like the main event is the showcase of the show. I mean, that hour long. How long is it? Yeah. It's TNA pay-per-views. Are they 2 hours or
normally 3, right, J-Bone?
About three are just less than 3. Yeah. Pretty much what WWE is doing right now. If you look at what Trips is doing, he keeps his pay-per-views, he keeps a short card and gives the matches times to breathe.
Tell the story.
Yeah, tell the story, little stuff in between, and has them run approximately 3 hours. Give or take a little bit. He doesn't overdo it. He makes them special with what's on there. Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't throw, and no offense to Tony. Tony likes to throw a lot of matches in his cards, but sometimes it's
too much. So we don't even need
We've talked
some of these
about
shows
it.
are like 5 hours.
Yeah. Well,
it's weird to me because I've sat through plenty 5-hour fucking pay-per-views, of WWE for many years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was WrestleMania when they were at one night. The reason they're at 2 nights now is because it's so freaking long.
It was 6 hours.
Yeah. You had a 2 hour long pre-show, and then long main card show, and then you got a post show, and it's like,
I'm curious how it's going to play out when they finally move to Netflix with the ads, because I think that's my biggest gripe about wrestling in general. And it doesn't matter if it's WWE, AEW, the ads are just way too long for those PLEs.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully,
now there's no ads on Netflix right now, right?
Well,
or do they have a?
I don't know about live. I'm not sure on live.
Well, I think what they're going to do is, and this is just purely speculation, but right now what they do with Peacock is if you pay for there's different tiers on Peacock, just like there's different tiers on Netflix. So if you pay for a certain tier, you're going to get to see a promo, right? If you pay for the highest tier, you're going to get to see a promo. If you don't pay for that high tier, then yes, you're going to see ads.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to subscribe to the higher tier on Netflix to be able to see no ads and just see the promo.
It's not $9.99 no more. That's for damn sure.
That's the hell no. No, it's like $19.99 for any more shit. But I'm excited to see future PLEs, and I'm also excited. I'm also kind of excited for All In. We're going to dive into that. Let's get into some AEW news. The betting odds for All In reflect high probability of former WWE stars debuting. It's all set to go down tomorrow at Wembley Stadium, and there's going to be some pretty big moments during the event. We're very likely to see the massive debut for the company, and the odds are very much behind Ricochet making his first big splash at Wembley Stadium. Now, Ricochet's recent move from WWE to AEW has generated significant interest, particularly with his confirmed travel to London for All In. Although details of his role at the event are still kind of under wraps, the betting odds strongly suggest that he will participate in the Gauntlet match with the odds set. And I'm not good at the whole betting thing, but these odds are at negative 1,000. I don't know if I'm saying it right, if I'm saying it wrong, because again, I don't bet. I'm not a betting guy.
Oh yeah, I don't get that shit either, so don't feel bad. I'm not a gambler, so I don't know how to read any of that stuff.
Under overs. Just think of under overs.
It's a possibility that he will participate in the Gauntlet match, and that indicates a very high expectation for him to make a notable impact with his debut, especially following his multi-year deal with the company. Now, beyond Ricochet, some other betting odds for matches at the All In include the Trios match featuring the Patriarchy as the favorites, followed by Mystery Team. The Bang Bang Gang and the House of Black have big, high odds, and these odds reflect on the perceived strength of the Patriarchy heading into the event, though the competition remains pretty fierce. So, all in all, this All In pay-per-view is not only kind of stacked, but a lot of, I know that they have the DraftKings, they're partnering up with DraftKings, so that's why they're, the betting odds are going, and it's kind of weird to bet on pro wrestling, even with all the dirt there.
That's a bet, man. It doesn't matter if it's a turtle or a mouse. We betting, this is what gamblers do.
Yeah, I guess it's.
I've done some DraftKings on wrestling before. Nothing crazy by any means, but like a few dollars here and there.
But with the dirt sheets out there and all the
the dirt sheets, like people take that. Obviously there's a core group of wrestling fans that believe everything they read, and then you have like your gambling addicted NFL fantasy football kind of guys that watch wrestling that want to put a couple of dollars down. They don't read the dirt sheets.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But, also in addition, the odds are stacked against AEW for this big All-In pay-per-view tomorrow at Wembley. And you never know what TK will do to pop interest for the big show, and that could include the anticipated debut of Ricochet, and also possibly Jamie Hayter could be thrown into the mix there, too.
There we go.
An injury during the April 19th, 2023 episode of Dynamite, where she and Britt Baker defeated Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. Hayter has been out of action. She was a champ at the time, but her injury led to a brief return at Double or Nothing on May 28th, where she lost the title to Toni Storm in a notably short match. Since then, Hayter's status has remained kind of unclear, with expectations that she wouldn't return within the year. Hayter has reportedly been backstage at Dynamite in the recent months for physical evaluation, and within AEW, there's a sense of, quote, positive movement, end quote, regarding her recovery, with some talents even having matches pitched to them involving Hayter upon her return. Now, in addition to Hayter's possible return, buzz is again swirling on Ricochet being in London for All In. In addition to that, again, the betting world is going crazy, because they're saying Hangman Adam Page is favored with any other as a probability, as Orange Cassidy is the underdog along with Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly. Will Ospreay is heavily favored to beat MJF for the American Championship. Mercedes Moné holds the same odds as at beating Britt Baker. Jack Perry is favored to defeat Darby Allin for the TNT title in the Coffin match, and Mariah May is highly favored to pin Toni Storm for the women's title, and Bryan Danielson is favored to beat Swerve for the AEW title. So, guys, with all the betting things, with all the betting talks going on out there, I say it's time to make our predictions. And I am going to start with the Baron. And we're going to go
Baron.
We're gonna go with this match by match, okay? So I don't know if you have the card in front of you. So here's the first match that we're gonna throw at you is the pre-show match. It's Kris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and I can't even pronounce his first name, Ishii.
Don't give a shit. Let's move on to the next one.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. I do want to touch base on what Barry said down in the chat.
Yeah.
I cannot agree with you anymore. Thank you for saying that.
You want to
I won't even mention any more about that. That is exactly my thought process at all.
All right. Well, with that being said, the AEW American Championship, MJF versus Will Ospreay. Who do you have?
I'm going to go. We're talking about Ricochet, making his appearance. I think if he does, this is going to be where he does. Possibly.
Ooh.
There's Will Ospreay and Ricochet. I don't know if you guys ever watched them in the past. They've had hundreds of matches together. And I think this is, this would be the time this happens. That way MJF can carry the title.
I was going to say a couple matches.
Yeah.
So who do you? So you think
I got MJF? I got MJF.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. For the Casino Gauntlet match for the future AEW World Championship match featuring Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Hangman Adam Page, Evil Uno, Roderick Strong, Dustin Rhodes, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. Who do you got, Baron?
I'm going to go with Dustin Rhodes.
Okay. All right. That's a good. I like that. All right. The AEW Women's Champion, the championship, Toni Storm and Mariah May.
This is probably one of the ones that I want to see the most. I think I'm ready for this to, I'm not saying end, but like this is going to be it. And I think this is where we see Toni Storm lose.
Yeah.
I think this is sadly the time, and I don't really want her to. I've enjoyed everything she's done, but I think this is now played out long enough. It's time to go ahead, shift it.
Yeah.
And this could be when Jamie returns as well.
Could be. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good prediction there. The coffin match for the AEW TNT Championship between Jack Perry and Darby Allin.
What?
If it's a coffin match and it doesn't have the Undertaker in it or Mankind, I don't care. No, I think Jack Perry. I think Jack Perry will win this match. It's going to be a fun one to watch, though. I think there's going to be a lot of shit that happens. Any match with Darby Allin is like one of those trains, It's like you got to watch, and it's always good.
Yeah. The last chance match for the FTW Championship between Chris Jericho and Hook. Aaron? Honestly, give a shit less about this match.
I agree, but I think it'll be Hook. I think Hook for sure is going to win this match.
Yeah. We move on to the AEW TBS Championship between Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker.
Britt Baker beat the hell out of Mercedes.
There you go.
Beat her ass. Take that title. It's your turn.
The four-way. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, 100%. That's all I got.
Okay.
Britt Baker all the way.
Cool. The four-way ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship between the Patriarchy, Kristen Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne, the Bang Bang Gang, House of Black, and Pac and Blackpool Combat Club.
I think it's got to be Bang Bang Gang. I think they need, just for the name alone, deserve to have those titles with them at all times because they're the Bang Bang Gang.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be a chaotic fucking match, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How about the three-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships between the Young Bucks, the Acclaimed, and FTR?
Oh.
Yeah, this one's hard to predict. I think Young Bucks have to drop the title here. There's no need for them to have it, and there was never a need for them to have it, especially with the position they have in the company. So I think the Acclaim's going to win this. I think it's time to put some titles on the younger, superstars, and I think these two would be the best for that.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, the AEW World Championship between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson.
So this is one of those matches where you read stuff about dirt on the dirt sheets and it gets you confused and you don't know how to like really predict what's happening, because I'm under the assumption that like Bryan Danielson's done. But is this a story they're trying to portray though? That's where you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure, you know, what's going on there. Which is good for a wrestling fan because it's going to make you be invested to watch this match. So good story on that for sure. But if it is Danielson's last hurrah, which I kind of hope it is, but I also don't hope it is. But I'm going to go with Swerve. I think Swerve probably is going to win. Put him over some more.
Okay.
Especially if we don't know the future for Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to J-Bone's predictions. We start with you, sir, in the pre-show match between Kris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Ishii, because I cannot pronounce her first name. Tomohiro?
You got it, bro. All
Tomohiro
right.
Ishii. Hey, look at me. I'm
Dude, your Spanish is getting good, man.
My Spanish.
Oh, sorry.
I thought it was Italian.
Portuguese? No. Maybe not.
Maybe Mushi. I don't know. Who do you got, man?
What?
I don't know.
I got
words.
I got word salad. Willow Nightingale and Ishii.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
We move on to the AEW American Championship between MJF and Will Ospreay.
Oh man. I gotta go. Both have been gold in this, but man, I gotta go. They're in the UK. I gotta go Will Ospreay, because he's, if there was a metaphorical roof, he'd blow the roof off the place.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping for Will Ospreay, and then. I know we've been talking about places for surprises to happen. I don't remember where Jordan. Where did you say the? You were thinking about Ricochet.
Yeah, this is where I put Ricochet at. This is where.
Is this where you? Okay,
yeah, I put him in this match here.
Okay, yeah, you know, honestly, it makes sense. This or the Casino Gauntlet. I think we might get some more surprises in the Casino Gauntlet, but okay,
yeah.
But as far as just match wise, I think Will Ospreay.
Okay, and we move on to the Casino Gauntlet for the future AEW World Championship match between Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Hangman Adam Page, Evil Uno, Roderick Strong, Dustin Rhodes, Mac Taven, and Mike Bennett.
Well, I know there's no one guaranteed to debut in this match as far as surprises, so I'm going to go with who you listed. I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page. If you listen to his promos lately, he's a different kind of beast lately. I mean, he is just old school, pissed off at the world, gonna burn down some arenas. He is metal thrashing mad, and I know he wants to win this so that he can get his hands on, well, Swerve. Swerve is the main thing. I don't know if he even gives a damn about the title. So, but we continue.
I think he just wants to whoop some ass.
I think he does.
Yeah, I mean, so we move on to the AEW Women's Championship between Toni Storm and Mariah May. J-Bone, who do you got?
Oh, definitely Mariah May. I've loved this story though, because I've loved how this has been just an absolute just love fest between whoever, Tony has faced. Mariah May's always been there at her side, and then there were some others, and it was like, three people, like Three's Company, come and knock on my door. It was always, like, oh, what's going on here, But, and then Mariah May turned on Toni Storm recently and just flipped the whole women's division on its head, which was which just, and it's not just the fact of somebody turning on someone else. If you look and see what happened to Toni Storm has gone insane over this. I mean, she is full blown classic, just lunatic. She's just an absolute lunatic.
Yeah, she's a mess.
She is a hot mess. But
this has been one of the best storylines that AEW has had in a very, very long time.
And it's so simple. But
it's
you know,
it's a story of betrayal, and it's a story of you know, just wanting to be at the top. You know, who wants to be at the top, especially with this timeless Toni Storm thing? Who really wants to be timeless? Is it Toni Storm? Is it Mariah May? They both want to be timeless. So, yeah.
It's Mariah May's time. I mean, I'll be shocked if Toni wins, but I think it's Mariah May's time.
Yeah. Moving on to the coffin match for the AEW TNT Championship, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin. Jesus Christ, who do you got?
I think some of the fumes are heading up the screen.
So. I think smoke always comes up and Baron's below me, so
it's exactly it's definitely what's going on here.
I think I'm hungry too, so I'm thinking of Arby's.
It's good shit. Good shit.
Yeah.
I'm really torn on this because I love Darby Allin, but Jack Perry has been really playing a good heel lately, and he's been just going nuts. I mean, this is going to be a crazy hardcore match. They're going to be throwing everything at each other, just, you know, next to the kitchen sink. Yeah. You know what? I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go Jack Perry here.
Okay. The last chance match for the FTW Championship between Chris Jericho and Hook. Yeah, I know. This is what we call filler match, folks.
No, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm laughing because of Chris Jericho's gimmick. I have loved Chris Jericho. Everybody. I can't stand his gimmick right now. I just want to throw my phone at the TV. I have loved all of his groups that he's tried to put together since day one, going back to 2019. I've loved them all in their own special way. But this is just look, we're booing him, so he's doing his job right, you know. But it's like, oh, son of a bitch. But yeah, Hook's got to win here.
J-Bone, I think it's safe to say that you just made the list.
Gladly.
All right, moving on to the AEW champion, the TBS championship between Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker.
Oh, DMD all day.
All right, DMD. Cool.
That's right.
We move on to the four-way ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship between the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne, the Bang Bang Gang, House of Black, and Pac and Blackpool Combat Club, which I always want to call Deadpool, but it's not. J-Bone, who do you have?
See, and it's weird. They put Pac with Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. I think, honestly, I think that's another sign that, I know this is a bit of a sidebar, but I think it's another sign that Phoenix and Pentagon are leaving the company. Because they should have been out there with Pac, because they've been a tag team forever. I can't, there's always somebody injured.
I think we've touched on that on a previous episode of ours that those two were possibly their contracts were coming up in AEW.
I've heard both ends of it, as in, oh, they're absolutely going, there's interest, and then you've heard the rebuttal from Pentagon saying, no, I'm staying in AEW. Or it's like, well, Okay,
Right.
but we'll see. You know what? Let's AEW World Trios Championship. So what? I guess they separated these from the Ring of Honor ones again. I thought they combined them, but
I thought they combined them too, but this just says for the AEW World Trios titles.
okay.
And it could be for both. I don't know.
And the Patriarchy is holding them right now. It's really a toss up. Fuck it. House of Black.
All right. Next up, the 3-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. The Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed versus FTR.
I gotta go with one of my favorite teams of all time, the Young Bucks.
Okay. And finally, Baron.
I like it. That's a ballsy call right there.
Very ballsy call.
I think
they are DraftKings now.
I think they will. I honestly think they're going to retain. We'll see.
Yeah. And last up, the AEW World Championship match between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson.
It's tough, man. It
is tough. I know.
Trying not to look too much towards the future. Part of me really wants to see Bryan Danielson have one more run at the top. And I don't care if it's to be a transitional champ. And I hate using that term, but you know, it doesn't have to be a year-long thing. We know that he's winding down his career, respectfully, you know. Right. I'm good with either one, but if I had to pick one, I guess I'm going to say Bryan Danielson. I mean, this feels like it's like the ultimate, what do you call that? The ultimate boss level of somebody you're going to face at the end of the day to defend your championship.
Right.
Swerve is facing one of the best on the planet. Now, is Bryan Danielson in tip-top shape? No. Like every time he's out there, he looks like he's dying. And it's getting, as a fan, that's getting harder and harder to watch. You know, whether he's just selling something or he's legit banged up. It's hard to watch. So, yeah, I'm torn on it, but I'm going to go with a very slight edge to Bryan Danielson.
Okay. All
but
right.
If he does have to ride off into the sunset and, you know, leaves his boots in the ring and then, you know, takes a half a year off or whatever he has to do to just, you know, chill out for a while.
Yeah.
This would be a great place for someone like, well, I know Bobby Lashley and his crew are, they're free agents now, aren't they? Or is it too soon for them?
I heard rumblings on that they were free agents, but I thought that they were working out a deal with the WWE, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I just don't know how soon they can like show up somewhere else. I don't know if that was an issue or not. But this would be a great time for someone like Bobby Lashley to show up and stick it to Swerve. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, let's get into mine. The pre-show match between Kris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway with Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. I guess I'll go with Kris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway, though I'm not really I'm not invested into that match. The AEW American Championship match between MJF and Will Ospreay. I say I'm going to go with the betting odds. I'm going to say Will Ospreay, and this is going to be match of the night number 1 for me.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Kris, the Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match between Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Hangman Adam Page, Evil Uno, Roderick Strong, Dustin Rhodes, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. Again, I'm going with the betting odds. I'm going to say Hangman Adam Page walks away with this one.
Ooh,
For the
two for Page. All right.
Yeah. The AEW Women's Championship between Toni Storm and Mariah May. It's got to be Mariah May, and I'm going to say this is match of the night number 2. The coffin match for AEW TNT Championship, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin. I'm going with Darby to win, but I think there's going to be some run-ins from both sides. I think we're going to see the Elite run out. I think we're going to see people from Darby's camp run out and save Darby and take the Elite backstage. And I think because you can't have a Jack Perry match and not have some run-ins. So I think we're going to possibly see some run-ins on that.
Let me ask you something, because this name has not come up yet.
Go ahead.
Do we see Sting show up to help Darby?
Possible, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. If anything, there will be like a mention. There could be like a mention of Sting. It depends on how late it gets in London, because it's a kind of an outdoor venue. So it depends on how late they go into the match to get to this match, to drop the lights, mention Sting like the Crow and stuff like that, and have Darby get the upper hand as like a distraction for Jack Perry. It's a good call, but I don't think we're going to see Sting.
Okay.
But it's a really good call. But I do think Darby will win I think he will win the AEW TNT Championship. The last match, the last chance match for the FTW Championship between Jericho and Hook. Honestly, don't care. Hook. AEW TBS Championship match between Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. Everybody knows I am not over on Mercedes Moné, and I sincerely hope that she doesn't win. I think Britt needs to take these titles, make them massive. The promo those two cut on Dynamite was not good on either side, but Britt carried the promo, and she carried Moné throughout the entire promo. So I'm going to go with Britt on this one to walk away with the TBS Championship. The 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship between the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and Pac and Blackpool Combat Club. I'm gonna go with the betting odds. I'm gonna say the House of Black will be the new Trios champs again, because weren't they were the previous Trios champs, correct? Before
I know.
Did they drop
it was
so the Patriarchy could get them? Because I think that's what happened.
No, it was something else happened. I don't know. House of Black are former tag team champions, I think.
Okay,
maybe
so,
I don't know. I'm a little rusty on
maybe
the tag
I don't
division
know.
stuff.
So I'm gonna go with the House of Black to be the new Trios champs. The 3-way tag match, the AEW World Tag Team Championship between the Bucks, the Acclaimed, and FTR. All right. I'm not over with the Bucks anymore, and I'm no fan of Cash Wheeler. I think that they should give the belts to the Acclaimed if and only if Max Caster can keep his damn mouth shut on the mic during his entrance and not say anything fucking offensive.
Well, he's not going to keep his mouth shut. The offensive part is another. Well, it's going to be a pay-per-view, so he might go a little more edgy. But I know sometimes he does stick his foot in his mouth. I know.
Even if they're on a pay-per-view, the Warner Brothers Discovery executives are going to be watching this, and they're going to say, "Okay, what can we expect from Max Caster on our programming?" Or on our network. So I'm going to say the Acclaimed could walk away with the tag titles on that one, as long as Max Caster can mind his P's and Q's. And for the AEW World Championship between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson, this is I'm kind of stuck on this. Both guys are over, but this is a major prediction. I know Brian is wanting to call it quits, but I think they're going to give it to Brian as a send-off. Like, hey, thank you. We're going to give you the title. And he carries it over into Dynamite and loses it in a match against Swerve Strickland on Dynamite, because Swerve will come back and challenge again on Dynamite and he'll lose. And then that's his send-off. That's the match that he calls it. He's like, I'm done. Okay. And we don't see it.
Okay, Dizzy. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. There you go. That is the card. That's our predictions for All In 2024 tomorrow at Wembley Stadium in London. I'm kind of excited to see if we're all right.
What's our start time for that here?
The start time is,
we're looking at 1 o'clock again, or
I think the pre-show here will start at 10 Central. And then that's a 2-hour. I think that's a 2-hour.
So new.
Maybe,
yeah. So about 12-1-ish, probably.
12-1-ish, yeah. But I think they said, if my calculations were correct, I think the pre-show starts at around 10 a.m. Central time.
Yeah,
Central time. Because we're all going to be Central. So
yeah,
here in this call, here on this show anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's it, man. That's the show. I really sincerely hope everybody enjoys All In 2024. I really think it's going to be good. I hope anyway, and I hope that most of our predictions come true on the show. So, a quick update, subscriber wise, guys. We are at 199 subscribers. We only need one more to get Max in that dress. And I want to see it happen. So tell your friends, tell your family, hit the subscribe button. Take us to 200 subscribers. And we want to get Max. You will get to see Max in a dress on the next episode of Ramblers Unleashed. And I know everybody in this show wants to get Max in a dress. And I'm thinking we're so close.
Granny panties.
I mean, you can have your granny panties if you want. I mean, that would be funny, honestly. But I don't know what your infatuation is with wanting to see Max in granny panties, Dave.
Maybe a nice girdle.
Oh, the girdle. Oh my God! With that, we're done for the day.
Let's shut her down.
Yeah, we're gonna shut her down. Baron, how can I get a hold of you on the socials, sir?
Wait, over here at Scumbag Jordan with three N's.
3 N's, yes, and follow him more. Follow him for every $9.99 moment that you could ever want is found on his Twitter profile. Promise you.
Yep.
and if he tweets anything that is something that could be interesting on the show, we're definitely going to talk about it. Definitely. J-Bone, how can they follow you, sir?
You can follow me over on that Twitter box, formerly known as
Twitter.
Yeah. Currently, no one likes talking about their ex, so we'll call it the Twitter box. JBone5150, and you can also catch me over on that other little show called Total Nonstop Impact, and occasionally on a Smash This podcast.
There you go. You can follow Max Magus on the socials at Max Magus. You can also follow his other geek nerd show at Our Shots Podcast. That is the Random Shots Podcast. And you can follow our show on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed, facebook.com versus Ramblers Unleashed. And you follow us on X2 at the Ramblers Pod, and subscribe and hit the bell for us to get 200 subscribers on YouTube. And you can also find us on Twitch too. But when we get to 200 subscribers on YouTube, we're going to slap Max in a dress, and that is going to be my favorite show we've ever done, just to get Max in a freaking dress. I guarantee you this is going to be my very favorite show. Yep. I know folks are in agreement. So if you are in agreement with those folks, tell your friends, tell your family, get us to 200, even over 200, and we'll put Max in a dress on the next episode of Ramblers Unleashed. Certainly hope you enjoy All In, AEW All In 2024 in Wembley. And until next Saturday, we'll do it all over again. So please remember to enjoy professional wrestling as it is, no matter what promotion it is, whether it's AEW, WWE, TNA, or an indie promotion. Go support wrestling, and we will talk to you next weekend. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.